Hi there, it's Rebecca with Inner Power Training. Today I want to talk about manifesting made easy. That was my big aha moment when I was taught how to use my creative imagination to manifest what I desired in the 3D world, and it worked. I found out it's a lot easier than you would think. You just have to do it. But there's a few little tricks to it. There are some tricks, I have to admit. When I was told how to do it by someone that understood it, because he had been practicing it for many years and it worked for him, and his uncle was a master teacher who taught him. And when you're taught by someone who knows what they're talking about, it makes all the difference. You need to find people that have been examples of manifesting in their own lives and have proven it. Because until you prove it, it's just an intellectual exercise. You have to put your money where your mouth is. And I've learned that over and over again. When you really need to manifest something, you need to do the work to make it happen. Now, the thing is this: if you're working at it too hard, you push it away because what you're going to manifest is what you don't want. If you don't believe you're really going to get it because you get frustrated or anxious. If you can just step into your mindset where everything is already yours, it's already happened. That was one of my big aha moments when I first learned how to manifest. It's not hard. It's actually simple. But let me, like I say, give you a few tricks. First of all, the first thing I manifested was a move to New York City from Chicago and a beautiful apartment. And it worked out effortlessly. I just visualized it every night before I went to sleep, when I woke up in the morning, and pretty soon it happened. So I started reading books like Think and Grow Rich, Three Magic Words by U.S. Anderson. The Bible has all the teachings in it if you know how to read it properly, but it's kind of coded in there. You need to sometimes have someone who's figured it out explaining it to you. Um, so that's what these metaphysical teachers have done. They've taken the teachings of Jesus, the master teacher who lived at the Christ level of consciousness, and they've given it to us in practical ways that we can apply it into our lives. And it needs to be practical, because if you're just living in your imagination all the time without ever practically applying it, you can sometimes get stuck. So the next thing I came across was spontaneous healing of your body. I couldn't figure out how you could connect the dots and change the cells in your body by changing your thought, but you can. You can change anything. You can change your circumstances. You can change your financial situation. You can change where you're living. You can change your looks. You can change your relationships. Everything is within your command once you understand that you are the creator. God is within you, not out there. And if you understand that, then moment by moment by moment, you can live in that consciousness of receiving and giving back, because the more you give, the more you receive. That's why you want to find ways to share what you know with other people, share your gifts, and help people, even if it's just being pleasant when you go out shopping and cruising around. Be nice, give off a good vibe. And because it's all based on frequencies and vibrations, and if you're living in that frequency where you expect only good things to happen all the time, that's what will turn up in your life. Forget about the 3D world and all of its horrors and nightmares, and be aware of what's going on, but don't let it bring you down to the point where you're so depressed you can't even snap out of it. That's why there are certain people that came along and created these religions, because people need ways to plug in through groups and teachings and writings and whatever they can find to lift them up. It's all out there if you just dig, but you have to want it. If you don't have clarity on what you want, you're never going to get it because then you're just putting yourself in neutral all the time. You're not zooming ahead. You're not manifesting. Every time I have manifested a place to live, a career choice, a husband, a home, enough money to cover what I needed to do, travel, the way I look, feeling young instead of old, healing myself. It's because I didn't give myself other options. And I can see, as you move along in life, it's easy to get stuck and lazy. You want to, but I'm not going to. I suggest you always find new and exciting ideas and things to plug into to keep yourself going. I actually have friends right now that are my age, in their 70s, who I can see they're kind of like giving up because they can't think of anything to do. They haven't developed a strong interest. That's why when I gave seminars, one of the number one things that people would come to find was their purpose. You want to know why you're here. And if you come up with something really exciting and interesting for your purpose, um, then everything that comes along in your life is a yes or a no. If it's aligned with your purpose, go for it. If it's not aligned, dismiss it. You don't need to take that detour. It's that simple. It's it's simple, but it's not easy because if you're not willing to do the inner work, I can't tell you how many people I have told there are things out there that can rejuvenate you. There are things out there that can make you feel better. If you study with the mystics and the metaphysical people who have figured it out, you will get it eventually. You will have that big aha moment, that spiritual awakening. And once you have that, you understand there's only one mind, one God. And if you've been making all these little false gods in your life, like I was doing before I had my spiritual awakening, you're going to get confused. I had a God for romance, a God for money, a God for career, a God for whatever I was doing in my life. And when I woke up and I had my big aha moment, they all became insignificant in a way because I realized there's only one God, and that God is in charge of everything in your life. And you need to have that breakthrough, though, that awakening, that spiritual awakening. And how do you get that? You work on yourself to get rid of negative emotions, negative thoughts, negative experiences, and focus on good things. That's why religions can come in very handy. If you pick one that you like, I study a lot of different things. I really dug deeply into Christianity. I especially like the teachings of Mary Baker Eddy and how she discovered that lost element of healing and reinstated primitive Christianity the way Jesus was talking. There are other teachers that came along that teach basically the same thing. God is within. You're a child of God. You have the power within you to heal yourself, to manifest, to live a nice life, to help other people. It's not about you. Once you understand that you are a child of God, you can't be a narcissist because the thought is away from you. You're looking at the big picture. You're looking at, well, what's happening on the globe, not just in your own country, everywhere. There is a mass consciousness. There is a shift going on the planet right now. What's it all about? How can you look at it and understand it better? Because this is the next phase of human evolution, whether we like it or not. Many of the mystics and prophets have always predicted it, and we just happen to be living at that time where you can benefit from it and look at it as a very exciting time to be alive.